This is Dr. Jackie Gardner-Nix from the Neuronova Center for Mindful Solutions, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Ontario guidelines for keeping us safe, the social circles versus the social gatherings. And the names will be different for each province and territory, but there's a lot of confusion about what these two terms mean. Social circles in Ontario at this time, which is early July of 2020, involves no more than 10 people who contract to be able to gather together without social distancing in place. So they can hug each other, they can be in close contact with each other. And it's generally suggested that it would be a household combining with another household and with friends, but up to a maximum of 10 people. And that those associations would mean that there's just the one social circle, they're not part of other social circles, and that they keep each other safe by, outside of that circle, always social distancing, that 2 meters apart when they're out in public. The difficulty with social circles, however, is if a member of the circle changes their circumstances, such as goes back to work, or such as puts their child in daycare, they can then put others in their circle at risk, and they have to have full disclosure to everybody in that circle. There has to be disclosure, and there has to be commitment and trust for it to work. And so a question might be, how do I change from one social circle to a different one if I wish to? And the guideline is that you would need to quarantine for 14 days before entering another social circle, leaving the first one behind. It's also recommended that they don't include people 70 and over or anyone with immunocompromised health conditions. So can be kind of difficult. In BC, they would call the social circles bubbles, and in Alberta, they're cohort families. In Saskatchewan, extended household groups. And so they do have different guidelines for each province and territory, and it does change the numbers. Social gatherings in Ontario also, at the moment, limit people to 10, but these are where you maintain the social distancing of the 2 meters apart. So the physical distancing, social distancing, 2 meters apart. And that allows people to actually use their social circles more confidently. Gatherings will differ across Canada in the numbers that they permit, but again, remembering these are guidelines, not rules. They're not enforced, they're really encouraged. So gatherings might be larger, especially in outdoor spaces, depending on the province and the territory you live in. Gatherings on public patios, however, don't look to be too easy to do, even if tables and chairs are 6 feet, 2 meters apart. So care is needed in using those public places, and it is recommended that we use masks. The number of people that can gather inside versus outside may also change, province to province, territory to territory. And so this is really just a moment or two mindfully considering what is meant by social circles versus social gatherings, and also becoming aware that we need to look at our local websites in order to ensure that we're following the guidelines for our own province or territory or part of the world. Okay, thank you. Stay safe.